While the American Revolution officially began on April 19, 1775, with the Battle of Lexington, the seeds of war were sown with the increasing tension between Britain and the colonies since the end of the French and Indian War. As the war began, no one could envision how it would not only lead to an independent nation, but also a world that would never be the same. This movie tells the story of the birth of our nation.
On March 22, 1765, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act. This new act imposed a tax on all printed paper goods. Colonists insisted that the act was unconstitutional. They resorted to mob violence to intimidate stamp collectors.
Under the authority of King George III, I am here to collect taxes. Hey, I'm out of here!
In 1766, Parliament repealed the Stamp Act. The Townshend Act of 1767 was another attempt by Britain to raise money. Taxes were levied on imported goods like glass, paint, oil, lead, paper, and tea. Again, colonists rebelled against these taxes and established non-trade agreements with the other colonies. Soon, trade between Britain and the colonies stopped, and the powerful British merchants stepped in on behalf of the colonists. In April 1770, Parliament repealed all the Townshend duties except for the tax on tea. On March 5, 1770, just 1 month before the Townshend Acts were repealed, 5 colonists were killed by British soldiers in what has been referred to as the Boston Massacre. Tensions had been on the rise since October of 1768, and Britain had sent troops into Massachusetts to help enforce the Townshend Act. The shooting was a result of colonists opposing British troops, insulting them, and then throwing snowballs.
The following footage may be too intense for young viewers. Parental guidance is therefore recommended.
Hey, Larrybud!
Larm, old man! Hi, Larry.
Hey guys, I'm getting so tired of those British soldiers in town, I thought maybe we could go have ourselves some fun and hurl some insults and snowballs at them. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Great idea!
High five!
Boo!
Hey, lobster bags, go back to England! No!
On December 16, 1773, Samuel Adams and the Sons of Liberty disguised themselves as Mohawk Indians. They then boarded 3 British ships in Boston Harbor and threw 342 chests of tea into the water. This action led to the passage of the Coercive Acts of 1774.
This tea's great.
Yeah, it's wicked awesome!
Hey, don't we have a game tonight?
Oh, let's go, guys! Horatio!
Samuel!
Alright, here's the plan. We go inside, we'll get dressed up like Mohawk Indians, climb on the ships, and throw tea in the harbor.
Okay, let's go.
Boy, we look good. Let's go!
My arms are getting tired.
Man up! Alright, quickly, get up here. It looks clear. Hand me that chest of tea.
Here you go.
Here, give me the other one, quick. Alright, great job.
Sweet.
On March 28, 1774, British Parliament adopted the Coercive Acts. The reason for these acts was to restore order and to punish the colonists for the Boston Tea Party. Along with the Quebec Act, these were known as the Intolerable Acts.
Oh, girl. Easy there. I order you to open your door and feed me and house me.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
You must.
This is intolerable.
Henceforth, let these acts be known as the Intolerable Acts.
The First Continental Congress consisted of 55 delegates selected from 12 of the 13 colonies. Georgia did not take part in this illegal assembly because they were fighting a mini-war against the Native Americans, and they were relying on British support. The Congress convened to discuss the different options concerning British offenses against the colonies. From this meeting, they created the Continental Association, a published version of American Rights, and a petition to the King listing American complaints. In addition, the Suffolk Resolves were approved.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. I love that poem. For those of you who don't know me, I am Paul Revere. On April 18th, 1775, I became famous for riding to Lexington to warn John Hancock and Samuel Adams that the British were going to arrest them. After I had 2 lanterns hung in the bell tower, I crossed the Charles River, where I borrowed a horse from my friend John Larkin. It was then that my famous ride began.
John!
Here's your faithful steed. Ride, sir! Ride for freedom!
After warning Hancock and Adams, William Dawes, Dr. Samuel Prescott, and I left for Concord. All 3 of us were captured, but the other 2 managed to escape from the clutches of the British tyrants. Until now, no one has ever been told the true story of how I was captured.
The British are coming! The British are coming!
Boy, you mean us? You ain't the smartest bloke, are you?
On April 19th, 1775, the morning after I rode to Lexington to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock, the American Revolution officially began. When 700 British regulars entered Lexington on that glorious morning, they were confronted by 77 militiamen on the town green. Just after the British major ordered the militiamen to throw down their weapons, a shot rang out. While no one knows who fired the shot, it has been referred to as the shot heard round the world. With that gunshot, the British opened fire and 8 militiamen were killed, 9 were injured. Only 1 British soldier was injured. The British then turned and started marching to Concord. After arriving and being unable to find weapons, the British began to set fire to buildings. The militiamen rushed to Concord's North Bridge, where they confronted some British soldiers. They drove them back and later met more British soldiers, who they forced back out of Concord, through Lexington, all the way to Charlestown Neck, where they had naval support. This was the start of our 8-year war for freedom.
Fort Ticonderoga was the supply post for the British. Ethan Allen led a militia known as the Green Mountain Boys in and captured the fort without a shot being fired.
Where did you blokes come from?
Surrender, we surrounded.
On June 17, 1775, along with 1,200 brave militiamen, I prepared to fight the British in the hills of Charlestown. The British overpowered us and pushed us back to Bunker Hill. During the night, we built 6-foot-high walls of dirt to protect us. General Howe sent wave after wave of British troops up the hill, only to have them turn back. Finally, when we ran out of ammunition, we were overrun and had to retreat. While the British finally won this battle, they had over 1,000 casualties compared to only 400 militiamen. This helped us build morale and showed the British that we were willing to fight tough battles.
After the capture of Fort Ticonderoga, General Washington got approval from Congress to attack British forces in Canada. There was a rumor that British forces would be gathering in Canada to prepare for an attack on New York. In addition, it was believed that the largely French population would be easily convinced to turn on the British and join the rebellion.
Stop! I think I hear something. What is it? Hey, fella! Did you see any British soldiers?
They're over that hill.
After an early victory south of Montreal, the British were able to drive the colonists back to America.
Hello friends, my name is Benjamin Franklin, and I am here to tell you about the Declaration of Independence. While the colonists wanted to be treated fairly, most did not want an all-out war with Britain. That changed when King George ignored our attempts to reach a peaceful settlement and instead tried to crush the rebellion with force. This left us no other option but to look into seeking our independence. While the Second Continental Congress convened, they asked 5 of us, Roger Sherman, Robert Livingston, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and myself to draft a document outlining our grievances and our decision to become an independent nation. We asked Thomas to write the document because of his eloquent way with words.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't take the pressure. I don't know what to write.
After he completed the first draft, he asked John Adams and myself to make any corrections. This document, the Declaration of Independence, was then presented to Congress, where it was officially adopted on July 4th, 1776.
My name is George Washington. In August of 1776, I was charged with defending Long Island, New York from the British, who possessed the most powerful navy in the world. The British believed that they could cut the colonies in half if they possessed New York. While this campaign was mostly one of defeats, and we were forced to retreat out of New York and cross the Delaware into Pennsylvania, it also gave us options going forward. I learned that General Howe was reluctant to take advantage of our weakness if it had the potential to put him at risk. I also saw how brave my army fought, and I now had time to regroup and plan our next moves.
After defeating New York, General George Washington gathered his troops and made a daring attack on the Hessian troops in Trenton, New Jersey. Crossing the Delaware on Christmas Day in 1776, the Continental Army surprised the tired Hessian army and easily defeated them. On January 3, 1777, General Washington tricked British General Cornwallis and attacked Princeton. After intense fighting, the Continental Army won the battle against the British soldiers and the morale was greatly improved.
On October 7th, 1777, British troops under the command of General John Burgoyne marched against the Continental Army just south of Saratoga. The Continental Army routed the British and Hessians, capturing nearly 6,000 troops,
who were forced to lay down their weapons. Not only did this lift morale, it gave France confidence that we could win the war, so they decided to join the fight against the British. Has anyone seen my teeth? I can't find my teeth.
British scum, you are all prisoners of the Continental Army. I order you to come forward single file and lay down your arm.
Dude, just your weapons.
Oh ja, das ist besser, danke.
Hessians.
In the summer of 1779, a group of 4 ships under the command of John Paul Jones were harassing British shipping and ports around England, Scotland, and Ireland. September 23, 1779, they came upon a merchant convoy with 2 military escorts. The battle ensued. The British Navy had bigger ships with more guns. They thought the Americans would give up after being hit. This is where John Paul Jones uttered his famous line, "I have not yet begun to fight." And they continued to battle until he captured the British ships.
On May 12, 1780, I, Major General Benjamin Lincoln, was forced to surrender to the British General Cornwallis in what would go down as our greatest defeat of the war. Over 3,000 of my courageous troops were captured that day. As luck would have it, I was able to face my victor one more time the following year, when he officially surrendered to General George Washington.
My name is Nathaniel Greene, Major General of the Continental Army. On March 15th, 1781, I led my troops into the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. While history books show this as a loss for the Continental Army, once again the British victory came at too high a price. And not only did they lose momentum, General Cornwallis decided to end his campaign for the Carolinas and move his troops to Virginia.
On September 28, 1781, the final big land battle began. General Washington led 17,000 American and French soldiers into the Battle of Yorktown. With the help of the French, Washington surrounded Yorktown and proceeded to bombard the city night and day for 3 weeks. This forced General Cornwallis to surrender on October 17, 1781. This effectively ended the war in the colonies.